What's up, YouTube? You may be wondering why we're looking at a laptop case today. Well, because we're going to talk about some guns that most people don't like to talk about. We're going to talk about budget options for backpackers' guns, guns for pest controllers, and the like. Yeah, this is the Notos. And yeah, this gun is one of the few budget guns that with a few accessories, like this buck rail conversion kit, you can actually make it into a backpackable gun. Now, why would you want a backpackable gun? Well, for pest control, sometimes we have to walk into places where people don't like guns. And more than once I've had the police called on me for carrying a firearm when really I was simply carrying my air rifles around. So being discreet in certain situations is always a good thing to not set off the Karens. That's another reason why you don't see my face in YouTube videos, because too many Karens. So, yeah, the cool thing about this gun is, right now, as of this filming, they're running about $280. It's 22 caliber, 7-shot magazine, super simple gun to deal with. You can even pump it up with a hand pump if you need to, which makes it really nice to not have to haul around the compressor. Has plenty of Picatinny rail on here, and you can set it up with different sight arrangements. Very accurate little gun, making about 20 foot-pounds with my setup right here. Just a super simple, super cheap setup for pest control, hunting, even just plinking in the woods. So the people ask me a lot, why do I have stuff like an Ed gun? Why do I have stuff like FX when they cost so much money? Well, there are advantages to those guns, and I'll get to that in a later video. But for this video, I wanted to talk about the advantages of a budget gun. Most of the time, for a gun like this, it's very simple, very safe. There's a safety here in the trigger, but you have to manually cycle this action in order to fire your next shot. This is lightweight. It's about over 2 pounds lighter than my Ed gun setup. As you saw before, it's very packable, so even in a backpack or just a small case, this transports very well. And it's a very easy gun to teach new shooters. So if you're teaching a kid, if you're teaching somebody who's never handled a gun before, this is a great gun to start with. And you don't even need any of these accessories to start out. The gun comes with a perfectly acceptable shoulder stock and a moderator already on the end to quiet it down. It's great right out of the box. So you don't need a $3,000 gun to get started in airgunning. You don't need a compressor to get started in airgunning. A hand pump and this gun, $350, you're in business. So yeah, that's just something to consider when talking to newer people and trying to spread our sport. Is, I see too many people who, I won't say gun snobs, but they're going to recommend an FX, an Ed gun, a Brocock, a Day State. And not everybody has, especially in these days, $1,800 to $3,000 to dump an air gun. And I get this question all the time. Well, I could go buy a 22 for $300 or $400, and it's gonna do everything. Well, I live in an urban area, and a lot of my pest control's in an urban area, and I cannot discharge a firearm in an urban area. I can, however, discharge this because there's no ordinances or laws against, in my area, discharging an air gun. So anytime I need to do pest control, coons, squirrels, birds, whatever, this is what I'm going to reach for because it's legal to use in my area. So just some things to consider about a budget gun. And, in my next video, I'll talk about the advantages of higher end guns versus this, but you don't need a higher end gun to get someone started. Sure, it's like every other sport. Once they get into it, they're going to want the best, but you don't have to start there. So, hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys have found this video useful. If you do, like and subscribe. Thanks.